Stories from around the corner.
And around the country.
You're listening to All the Best.
Proudly supported by the Art Gallery of New South Wales.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5. I'm Kwame Slusher. This week is all about telling stories. And there's no better way to start than to acknowledge that I'm recording from stolen and Gadigal land and pay my respect to Gadigal elders past and present. And also recognize that the area where FBI Radio is situated, Redfern, has long been a place of storytelling, strength, resistance, and resilience for First Nations communities. And it is that spirit of storytelling, resistance, and resilience that we're channeling this week, with a focus on cultural traditions, on memory, and how those traditions can shape the way you live your life. In our first story, a Pitjantjatjara man and a Gurintji man tell stories by a river. What you'll hear next is an acknowledgement of country for where they made their story, the beautiful audio story itself, then an interview with Caleb conducted by Brenton Woods from Kama Radio. And a content warning, there is a swear in this story.
Before this audio starts, I just want to acknowledge the Gurintji mob for letting us record an audio piece on this country. We'd like to thank you, mob. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd consider myself a fisherman instead of a hunter. I like to do fishing because I learned that from my grandmother. And my grandmother is the most important person in my life. And in the future, like if I have kids, I'll teach them how to fish.
So for hunting, like all my grandfathers told me, yeah, I'll just go out with my uncle. Yeah. When he's at bush, I'll always tell him like, oh, let's go hunting. Let's go for like kangaroo or something. Bush. I always just cruise, just like us two. Where's the kangaroo? Where's the kangaroo? Look for the kangaroo and look for like all day till we find one.
Oh, catching up a guppy. Oh, big snake gonna come out. You look to your left and right on the bridge. You'll find water there. Oh, that's shallow.
Is it?
Yeah, it's shallow. There's one fishing spot called Island. And that's a good fishing spot there.
So yeah, bro. What's this place called? Is it Dagarawa? Hey, Dagarawa Creek.
Dagarawa. That's where I got baptized when I was little. And it had this feeling that like you can't explain the feeling. It was like that kind of feeling. Because my grandfather, he's a Christian man. And yeah, he wanted me to get baptized here. Yeah. And when I was a little baby, I got smoked here too. Because that's what they do now. Like, if you're a little baby Indigenous, smoke, yeah. Like, smoking is for like, it's mainly for the country. To tell them, you're from this country. And like, if you swim here from another country, you have to have someone here too from this country to swim with you. Like, if you went fishing here too, you have the same person from this country go fishing with you.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a visitor, and if you want to go swim first or fishing, you need someone from this country to get water and what you're in there. Just a visitor visiting. That's it.
That's what my Jammu did now.
Yeah.
My Jammu from here. He told my mom and dad to get a board on, wash their head, wash their face, body. And after that, they swim, connecting to the land there.
Yeah. Put it in the head, wipe the face. If you're like not from this country,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
yeah.
Rainbow Serpent.
Rainbow serpent. Like that's I'll say in every single indigenous culture, the rainbow serpent is like the, what now?
They're like the god,
Yeah.
like god of the, like the country.
Yeah.
Before you come in, you gotta like let him know first, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the Dreamtime story, it says that the rainbow serpent, when he moves around, he makes what is called mountains because of that. When he wiggles, you know?
He know too, like, hey,
Yeah,
like
where's...
people come from other country, you know?
Yeah.
Like me, I'm from there, you know? I'm a bit, I don't know, I'm a bit scared to swim here. Hear that bird now, bro? The lucky charm bird.
Lucky charm bird.
There's some right near,
You see how that bird flying over there? Like,
he'll make that noise, yeah?
it goes, sir. Good. You do it like that. And if you say it too when he says it, it'll give you good luck for fishing. All the fishing stories, you know, who has like lots of fishing stories? It's mainly my grandmother. She taught me most of the stories about my community and showed me different places. So I learned from my grandfather, my grandmother, my father, my mother, my stepdad, and all that. And like all my aunties and uncles tell us like stories. And like we'd get that knowledge. Maybe in the future, if there is, we would teach like the young ones. And then once they learn, they'll be teaching their younger ones now. I remember when my big brother would go to watch us, I felt really upset, and then I just thought my big brother is really stupid. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have gone to jail just because of one stupid thing he did. And that's his own fault. He should have just tell family, like he should have just come to me and tell me, because I'm his little brother, second eldest. But yeah, I'm worried for like the young fellas here in the Alice Springs especially, and Darwin and Catherine. I see them rob. I see them smash thing houses. I see them smash shops just because they got nothing to do. If you have nothing to do, go back bush. Go learn something. Go learn something about your culture. Go learn something about what is your culture like in the past. Just take pride in being indigenous.
Lovely, man. Well, this is different for me, you know? I'm about to stay here now. Nice and quiet out here, man.
Yeah.
So I like being at bush, you know? Just get away from stress.
Wind, river,
Trees, like
bird, and that's relaxing to me. This will always be my home. Love this place.
So, Caleb, can you please describe your podcast to me? What sort of topics do you talk about in your podcast?
So the topic we spoke about, me and Orlando, was about welcome to country and how we grew up in Gurintji. He grew up in Gurintji, but I grew up in back in Alice, you know, Sun Desert. So yeah, he's talking about fishing there back in Gurintji. But me, where I grew up, like back in Alice, and also like back and forth to Fink. I always go out to hunting for like kangaroo or emu or turkey at bush, you know, or like bush chuckers. It's like no water, and the country as well is not green. It's like desert, surrounded by rocks as well. I mean hills. But in Gurintji, it's like they live near the river, like big river. It's called Victorian River. And we went out for this podcast. We went out to the Water Creek there in Gurintji. So in Water Creek, we talked about how we grew up, different country and place. When people go there, they gotta go like welcome to country, like all the tios back there in Gurintji.
Like, how did they welcome you to the country?
So like when you go out to Gurintji, he's the TO for Gurintji there. So he took me out to Water Creek there and sat next to a river, and he grabbed the water from the river and washed on my head.
So you are both young Indigenous men, and you talk about hunting and fishing. Why do you think it's important for people that are not Indigenous, even that are Indigenous, why do you think it's important for people to be hearing these stories, or even just like listening?
I think it's a good story, to listen, understand more about a country out in the desert and in different country as well. For the Arnangos out there, like me, and for the Arnangos, I think it's good too, to like tell the stories about a country and what's happening in Central Australia in there.
So in this podcast, what do you want the outcome to be if young people hearing it and listening, what do you want them to think?
From like me and Olande, we're like both young Aboriginal fellas, men. I think it's good too for the young fellas or young girls out there who's like ashamed to talk on the radio or podcast or video, Yeah, I reckon that's a good way to show young people to like not to get shy and be confident out there. So don't let anyone, distract you or just do what you want to do out there. Just tell the stories.
Orlando talks about his brother being in jail. Why do you think it's important for young mob to hear that? What do you want them to think about when they hear how he is disappointed in his brother going to jail? Why do you think it's important for young people, young Aboriginal people, to stand up for that?
It opens more young people to talk about their experience, about the family members and had to deal with, back in their communities and or maybe in town as well, doing bad stuff. So it's not only for like us two, it's only for like, and it's for everyone else. And if they listen to this podcast, they'll feel more comfortable and feel more open, to talk about their yeah.
Yeah, nah. Thank you for that, Caleb.
Nah, thank you, bro.
That story was produced by Caleb Doolan and Orlando Rubuntja. The supervising producer was Helen Thomas. It was made with the support of Creative Australia in partnership with All the Best and the Community Training Organisation. And you're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5, and I'm Kwame Slusher. Our next story from the archives is about memory, survival, resilience, and a narrative that spans generations. And a content warning, this story features depictions of violence against women, themes of dispossession and colonization. So please listen with care.
When I lived, life was good. The seas were gentle and the fish were plenty. The air was fresh and the soil was soft. The sun used to kiss me on my face and the moon would sing me to sleep. I watched my mother make magic in our garden. Her hands would enter the soil bare, disappearing beneath the surface only to re-emerge with food. As I aged, I learned how to grow food, but I saw magic in her nevertheless. My father would leave our home in the mornings and find his in the waves. He made his canoe as he made his children. Strong, lean, and ready for the ocean. And like his canoe, he made me with patience and love. My daughter was a strong woman. When she lived, life was different. Her guardians gave her the food I could no longer provide from the grave, and soon enough she had little hands to show her magic to. But soon strangers came and called her magic witchcraft. She was made to cover her body with another woman's clothing as if it was something to be ashamed of. She was punished for loving our gods and was forced to love theirs. They made her pray on her knees as if she was a slave. I suppose she was. Her daughter was a different woman. When she lived, life had changed. Her hands were too soft to create magic, and she ate food someone else had harvested. The air was different, and the fish were rarer. She was unlike her father's canoe, frail, soft, and afraid of the ocean. Her mother never loved her god, but she did. She called our ways witchcraft and called her brothers savages. She prayed to a man she had never seen before until all but her skin had turned into the foreign women she dressed like. Her son was a white man with a black face. When he lived, life had changed still. He was arrogant, greedy, and violent. He grew to hate his color as his mother had done before him, and took pride in the way his tongue shaped the foreign words spoken by the invaders. He thought it made him wiser. He beat his wife as he had seen his pastors do. Women were no longer his equal. He thought he was better than his sisters because the white man wouldn't let them into his school. The white man built his school on the graves of my brothers. His daughter had never seen magic. When she lived, life was new. She traveled on roads instead of waves and slept on foam instead of mats. She could only sometimes remember the way the sand felt beneath her toes. Her father refused to educate her, so when she tired of her husband's violence, she was alone in a city her people did not build. So she created her own magic. She sold lollies under the sun to feed her baby and sold love under the moon to feed herself. When she returned to the sand she once knew, it was submerged in water. Fishes now lived in the home she had left behind. Her daughter was a chief without a throne. When she lived, life was newer still. She was the first woman in her family to go to school, and soon she was the first in her family to get a degree. Soon enough, she was the first of her village to cross the ocean to learn about healing. When she returned, she was history with feet. She loved the white man's God and spoke the white man's tongue, but she also taught the white man medicine. She went back to the village to heal her people often, refusing to be paid in the white man's money. Some of their children couldn't breathe. Her son owns the voice you hear now. As he lives, life is what he makes it. He knows not of his first language nor of his first gods, but he knows of me, and he whispers me back to life sometimes. He rejects the white man's God and refuses to be defined by their language. He loves the color we both share on the surface of our skin. He is as he is, and he will never apologize. He has never sailed a canoe, but he is very much like my father's. Strong, lean, and ready for the ocean. He will heal the seas the white man has infected, and he will bring life back into the oceans they have killed. He's just as much of me as I am of him. And one day, he will say that as he lived, life was good.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5, proudly sponsored by the Art Gallery of New South Wales, and I'm Kwame Slusher. That story was written and read by Indigenous Papua New Guinean writer and organiser Lungol, and the sound design and original composition was by Danni Stewart. Our final story is also from the archives. And once again, we find ourselves by bodies of water.
This city was built on wetlands. Bodies of water, breathing in and out over thousands of years. Now, the city breathes and flows with its own rhythm. And yet, the wetlands are still there, waiting patiently under the ground. Sometimes when it rains, they remind us. One time as a child, down at the river, during the rains, the lakes all overflowed and changed shape. Water flooded the plains. Lakes rejoined the river. A fine mist settled low, and I lost my way. Until I spotted a familiar tree and a bridge in the distance. I kept my eyes on them as I wove my way around these new forms until I eventually found my way home. Sometime in the future, when we are nothing but an echo of a shadow, the wetlands will again take back what was always theirs. Breathing in and out. In and out. In and out.
You're listening to All the Best on FBI Radio 94.5, and I'm Kwame Slusher. And that piece was written and performed by Campbell White, and the sound design was by Ryan Pemberton. It's originally a comics installation, so head to our show notes for a link to that comic. And if you loved the audio stories you heard in this episode, then keep listening to All the Best for unique stories from independent audio makers from SoCal, Sydney, and around the country. Definitely catch our live radio broadcast on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. on FBI Radio 94.5. We also release a brand new episode every Tuesday at 4 p.m. on allthebestradio.com, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So follow us now so you never miss an episode. All the Best is made at FBI Radio on Gadigal land in association with SIN and 3RRR on Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung and Boon Wurrung lands and ACCC on Arrente and Warramungu lands. The All the Best executive producer is Mel Bakewell. Katarina Fraga Matos is our events and partnerships coordinator. Patrick McKenzie is our community coordinator. And a special shout out to some of our amazing volunteers, especially Ray, Sue, Lindsay, Andrew, Miles, Ash, Sharon, and Emma, who helped to make All the Best possible. Shining Bird composed our theme music, and Annie Hamilton designed the artwork. We're heard across Australia on the Community Radio Network, and were made possible by the Art Gallery of New South Wales and the Community Broadcasting Foundation. You can find our full archive of more than 600 episodes at allthebestradio.com. I'm Kwame Slusher. Thank you so much for listening.